Hello there, my name is Rose and welcome to another tutorial on Yarn Craftee. We're going to be making a square, just a classic granny square with puff stitches as well. And we're going to need worsted weight yarn in 2 colors. We'll also need 4.5mm hook, scissors and tapestry needle. This is a pretty easy square to make, so just sit back and watch as we make one. No, don't just watch, join me to make one. So we will start with a magic ring. If you do not know how to make a magic ring, chain 4 and slip stitch into the first chain to form a ring. So into the center of the ring. So I chain 1, now chain 2, and I make 2 single crochets, double crochets, 2 double crochets into the ring. Chain 1, 2, 3. Make 3 double crochets into the ring. Chain 3 again. Another 3 double crochets into the ring. One more time. 3 double crochets into the ring. Close up your ring. Now chain 3 and join into the top of chain 3. This beginning where I changed to extra, to where I changed to. Okay, we join into the top there. Now that is the end of round 1. Round 2, chain 2. Our chain 2 counts as 1 double crochet. Now this is the second, because when you join into that chain there, into the top of that chain, it will make this other stitch scrunched up, so you could possibly miss it. So look out for that. So chain 2 and into the next stitch, double crochet, and in the next stitch, double crochet. Into the chain 3 space, 2 double crochets, chain 3, 2 double crochets. We're going to continue our double crochet stitches across the row, so 3 double crochets into the next 3 stitches. Into the chain 3 space, we'll make 2 double crochets, chain 3, and 2 double crochets. So that's how it goes for round 2. 2 double crochets into 2 double crochets, chain 3, 2 double crochets into the chain 3 space, and in this 3 double crochets, 2 double crochet, chain 3, 2 double crochet into the chain 3 space. So repeat that around. and into our last chain 3 space, 2 double crochets, chain 3, 2 double crochets. So now I'm going to finish this last double crochet with the contrast color. Then join into the top of chain 2. Chain 1 into this same stitch, which is the chain 2, top of chain 2. We're going to make our first puff stitch, yarn over, go into stitch, pull out a loop, yarn over, go into the same stitch, yarn over, pull out a loop. So 2 HJC puff stitches right there. Chain 1, skip this next stitch, puff stitch into the next stitch. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, into the next stitch. We'll make 1 more puff. Alright, now into our chain 3 space we make 1 puff stitch. So what that means is after this last puff stitch on this corner, you're not going to chain 1 because chain 1 counts as a stitch in this pattern. Okay, so puff stitch into the chain 3 space, chain 3, and another puff stitch into the same chain 3 space. Alright, now into the next stitch, which is this right here, we're going to make a puff stitch. No chain 1 this time because we're just replicating what we have here. There is no chain 1 between these two. So at this corner, there's usually no chain 1. The chains we have are in the middle. Puff stitch, chain 1, skip the next stitch, puff stitch, and we'll continue doing that. Skip, chain 1, skip, no chain 1. Now puff in chain 3, chain 3, another puff into the same puff, no chain 1, next stitch, which is the first on that side of the square, I mean, chain 1, skip, chain 1, skip, chain 1, skip, no chain 1. Now into the chain 3, puff, chain 3, puff, no chain 1, puff, chain 1, skip, chain 1, skip, chain 1, skip, no chain 1, in the chain 3 space, puff, chain 3, puff, we have 2 stitches left, 2 double crochet stitches left, so into the next one, puff, chain 1, which is the last stitch on the round, chain 1, join into the top of the first puff stitch, join with main color, because the next 4 rounds will be with the main color. All right, okay, so I have the chain 2 there, counts as my first stitch, so my first stitch will just be into this space here, I mean my second stitch rather, after the chain 2. Okay, good. Now I'm going to work into the chain 3 space, 2 double crochets, chain 3, 2 double crochets, okay. I'm going to continue with into the this is my first puff stitch, double crochet into the top of puff stitch, and double crochet in between puff stitch, and one more double crochet right into the top there. I'm going to make 2 double crochet stitches into the chain 3 space, chain 3, and 2 double crochets, double crochet into the first puff stitch, double crochet into the next, double crochet around, double crochet, 2 double crochets, chain 3, 2 double crochet in the chain 3 space. Into chain 3 space, 2 double crochets, chain 3, 2 double crochets, and double crochet into the last stitches, last 3 stitches, and in right there. Join to the top of chain 2. Alright, So on round 4, each side you have 13 stitches, that is from one point to the next. So the chain 3 is just in the middle from one point, so 13. You know if you're doing the correct thing. Okay, round 5, we'll chain 2, which counts as our first stitch, and double crochet into each of the stitches across. And into the chain 3 spaces, we make 2 double crochets, chain 3, 2 double crochets. And we repeat that around double crochet, 2 double crochet, chain 3, 2 double crochet in the chain 3 spaces, double crochet all around. At the end of the round, join to the top of chain 2. We're going to repeat this round 2 more times. So we're going to have 4 rounds of double crochet stitches before we make another round of puff stitch. So repeat again, double crochet into each stitch across, have 2 double crochets, chain 3, 2 double crochet into the next. At the end of the round, join to the top of chain 2 with color, with the contrast color. I mean, that is for the 4th round of this. Okay, so all right, to make it less confusing, we have 2 double crochets with the main color in here. So on this side, we'll have 4 rounds of double crochet stitches with the main color. So on the 4th round on here, you join with the contrast color. So on round 7, it's a bit of it's like a repetition of this, but there is a slight difference at the corner. So chain 1, and we make our first puff stitch into the top of chain 2. Chain 1, skip 1 stitch, puff in the next stitch. And we're going to repeat that across. Chain 1, skip 1 stitch, puff stitch into the next stitch. Alright, so here we're going to chain 1 because we have 1 stitch left here. So chain 1, skip 1 stitch into the chain 3 space, puff stitch, chain 3, and puff stitch. Now we're going to chain 1 and skip the first stitch, because just like we did here, we chained 1 and we skipped 1 stitch. We're going to do the same thing here. Into the next stitch, puff stitch. Chain 1, skip 1 stitch, puff stitch in the next stitch. We're going to repeat that across the row. Okay, at the end of the row, after chain 1, skip the last stitch on this corner and puff stitch, chain 3, puff stitch. Okay, so we're going to repeat chain 1. Everything what we've done on this row, chain 1, skip a stitch, puff stitch, chain 1, skip a stitch, puff stitch, chain 1, skip a stitch. Repeat it across, repeat it, and repeat it around the square. So skip and then puff stitch into the next stitch. Chain 1, skip, and then puff in the next. After the last puff stitch, chain 1, and we're going to join into the first puff stitch. Okay, chain 1, skip the last stitch and join. But this time I need to actually chain 1 with the main color or main yarn and join into the first puff stitch. All done. Okay, now heading to round 9. Round 9 will be a repetition of this. So we're going to have 6. We began with 2 and 4. The next rounds, the next double crochet rounds will be 6. So begin with chain 2, which counts as the first stitch, and double crochet into that space there, chain 2, and double crochet into the top of the puff stitch, double crochet into the chain 1 space, and carry on with the double crochet across the row. Double crochet into the top of, yep. Now we are going to make 2 double crochets into the chain 3 space, and chain 3 and 2 double crochets. Oops. Okay, 2 double crochets into the chain 3 space, then double crochet again. So carry on making double crochets at the corners into the chain 3 space. We'll make 2 double crochet, chain 3, 2 double crochet. Repeat that around. Double crochet into the last puff stitch, and double crochet into the chain 1, last chain 1 space. Join to the top of chain 2. Okay, so the next 5 rounds will be repetition of these rounds because it's all double crochet stitches. So round 10, chain 2, double crochet into the next stitch, and each of the stitches, double crochet across each stitch, and in the chain 3 space, 2 double crochets, chain 3, 2 double crochets, and double crochet into each of the stitches across into the chain 3 space, 2 double crochet, chain 3, 2 double crochets. We're going to repeat that around, and at the end of the round, join to the top of chain 2. Repeat the sequence again until you have 6 rounds of double crochet stitches. Now we are on round 14. So we have 6 rounds of double crochet. Okay, I'm going to join it. I'm going to make one more round with the contrast color. So finishing this round with the contrast color. But the thing about this square is, I mean, it's unending. You can just keep going and going and going until you're satisfied with the number of rounds you need. I'm going to make the last round. The last round is more like round 3, because we have to make a puff stitch on the last stitch at the corner, unlike here where we chain 1 and skip 1 stitch. So chain 1 and into the first stitch we make our puff stitch. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, puff stitch in the next. So round 15 is a repetition of round 3. Yeah, round 15. Chain 1, skip 1 stitch, puff stitch in the next. After the last puff stitch in the last stitch, do not chain 1, puff stitch in chain 3 space, chain 3, puff stitch in same chain 3 space. Do not chain 1 into the next stitch right there, puff. Now chain 1, skip the next stitch, puff stitch into the next stitch. So this is what we're going to do for this round. So on round 15, repeat round 3, just the way we did round 3. At the end of the round, join to the top of the first stitch. If you were not going to continue, you join with the main color. If you're going to continue this square to make it as wide as you want, you join with the main color. So you can keep increasing the number of rounds you have with the main color. We started with 2 and 4, 6. The next could be 8. Or you could decide to just continue making 6 rounds with the main color as you desire. Okay, don't forget to weave in your tails after you make a square and block it. When you block your square, it's gonna because the shape is not quite not quite perfect, so blocking it will really bring out the right shape. Alright, thank you for joining me on this tutorial. This square will be turned into a wrap, so make sure you look out for the tutorial on that. And I'll see you in the next tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Thank you so much. God bless you. Bye.